Watsonville.
Watsonville, California.
Yeah. So I was born there in Watsonville, California, with all those strawberries, the city of strawberries. And then when my parents moved back to Mexico.
Hmm.
So I lived in Mexico when I was a baby until I was 7. And then we moved to Washington State. And that's where I grew up, basically. I went to elementary school, middle school, high school, and college.
And when did you get the acting bug? When did you realize that you wanted to act?
When I was a kid, a baby, well, I guess I wasn't a kid. I always would watch movies and I would get inspired by the movies, the characters. So I would do theatrical performances in my house with my sisters. We would be like all doing scenes and so I really enjoyed doing that. And then I did that in church. I did plays at school, and so that's how I've been doing it as a kid. And so then when I finished my school, my education, I moved to LA.
And LA is a great place to learn.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I've been working with amazing teachers when I moved there, and you're constantly working at it. So I feel blessed. I have great people with me that I'm able to work with.
Were you surprised? And because the dream of being in television and motion pictures is different from the actual doing it. It's hard work. Were you surprised at how hard it is?
Yeah, I noticed that you get, sometimes, for film, you get the script, you have they give you like a month or sometimes 2 months. And for TV, it changes it could change every day. So you probably you arrive on set and they have new dialogue that was, and you didn't get it till the day off. So that's very common for television. And so, and for film, sometimes that happens. There will be, oh, we're gonna change something in the scene. That happens, but it's not as common.
What was the first audition that you won? I mean, you got the part.
Yeah. So it was like, well, it was like many years ago, but I remember I auditioned for a drama show. It was a drama film and dramatic. And it was a fun character, very emotional character. So I remember it was like I went there and I just felt it. But then sometimes when you audition, you kind of feel like, oh, I did this. Why did I do that? Like, especially in the beginning, like you're really hard on yourself. You learn with time and experience that at the end of the day, it has nothing to do with you. It has something to do with who they're looking for, the vibe, the energy, what it is. So many elements that it has nothing to do with you have to detach yourself thinking it's personal. So but in the beginning I would be driving home and like, oh god, I did that, I can't believe I did that, and so then I get home, I get a call from my agent, oh, you have a call back. I'm like, oh, okay, great. And I was thinking, well, I guess I did good because I got a call back, but I was still hard on myself. And I'm like, oh God, then I did the audition again and the callback and I got it and it was a fun shoot. And, with time I learned just to not to take it too, not to stress too much about it, because actors, we do that, especially in the beginning with the first audition.
Yeah, you can't let the word no dissuade you from your goals.
Oh yeah, because even now, like you're constantly being rejected. That's like part of the process. Like it's not like everything is smooth. It's always like, you have maybe 10 auditions and maybe 1 callback, or maybe you have nothing, or maybe you have like 5 meetings for possible projects and then something comes out of it. Like it's just daily rejection. It's common. So you just kind of like learn to navigate through the system, and just know that it's like when the things are fit, right, it would just be your time, it's just all about timing.
Yeah, Meryl Streep one time told me that you when you're beginning in this business, you become a professional auditioner, and that's your job, is to audition, and then only very in between the breaks or when you get little jobs.
Yes, and then what happens a lot is like you may not have anything for like a couple months. Like you're still working every day, but you may not have a booking, and then you book something, and then it's back to back. That happens to me a lot. Like like I will book something and then I have like 3 projects back to back. But then I have like maybe a couple months off. But even when I'm off, I'm constantly working. Like I'm doing my PR, I'm doing, setting up meetings. Like you're always working. Like all that is work that adds up at the end. And wait, okay, let me see what happens. No, you constantly have to be on the go, like preparing, because you gotta be in charge. You have your team, but you also have to not depend on your team 100%. You have to like work at it so that way they can, you can bring also like, oh, there's this meeting I'm gonna go to, and they also follow up. It's a collaboration.
Yeah. Have you ever been on a set where there's been people that aren't prepared? I mean, it just slows
Oh God.
everything down.
Yeah, yeah. No matter, you think in the beginning when you start working, you're like, oh, a different level of budget will make a difference, but not really. I
Yeah.
have worked in different budgets, and definitely people, like, it surprises me how people are not prepared as much. Like they don't have their lines memorized, or they're just like chatty on set without really being prepared. And I see that a lot on pretty much every movie I've done.
Well, let's chat about Tale of Tales, because this is hitting Tubi. In It's on there now, isn't it?
On the 12th, yeah, which
On
is
the 12th,
tomorrow.
yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So this is just a couple of days from now. We're gonna experience this, and what would you call it? Is it a crime drama? Is it a mystery?
It's a crime action thriller, and it definitely it is. When I got the script, I was really excited because it is totally um, something that happens a lot. Like when women are taken advantage of and
Mhm.
by their boss, and it's like there's like a murder in the that happens in the story. And so definitely it is my character is Lola. I'm a you know Latina, young
Mhm.
Latina, and I young mother, and I work in a club as a dancer. But I work in the club because I'm also helping my family, but my character is very smart. It's just like is she made regrettable decisions, but she learns, and she holds the vital information for the crime that is being investigated. But she also has loyalty, so she faces a lot of internal dilemmas. So it is a very strong character. I wanted to do that. Like I'm just like, okay, I can totally do that. um and it's been fun working on that project, and then also I will be working on the next seasons too.
I know a lot of Latina actresses. Uh, Genesis Rodriguez comes to mind, and they're always pushing for more presence and more diversity in film, and it adds a depth and texture to motion pictures and television shows.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, because definitely since I moved here to LA, I've been, there was like a historical change for sure, because when I moved here, there were not many Latinos cast or many auditions or very stereotypical roles, but it was always like supporting or maybe just like a smaller role. So, but it has really changed. I feel that it has really gone ways that is towards a positive direction towards diversity.
Yeah.
So I do see that. And even like on this film, I work with this TV series, I work with this director on a few projects, and he has diversity. I'm the Latina. I mean, I play Latina. I'm a Latina, but on this show, and he has other ethnicities. So as you can see, it's like a melting pot of a series. But the reality is like we're so diverse in this country. You go everywhere and you see different ethnicities. So it's the reality. To capture the reality is important.
Yeah. And let's talk a little bit about your director, Harley, because he's a great director and he's an actor as well. So does he have a more empathetic approach?
Yes, definitely. I love working with him because he works well with the actors. Like he really understands where you're coming from and wants to and works with you, and really like is very he's a very good director and a very great actor. He's just like very talented. So it's really, I've done, it's gonna be I'm gonna be working on another film with him, but I've done a few films with him, and he's all his projects get awards all the time. Like, it's just, because he's passionate. He has a lot of passion, and that's what I love about his work. That he really is passionate about filmmaking and bringing stories to life.
Are you going to be hopping behind the camera and directing and producing soon?
I'm very good with bossing people around, so I used to be a good director. No, but not for now. I mean, I have produced in the past, but I really just focus on the acting part for now. But maybe when I'm older, like, I can probably, I feel that I can, bring behind the scenes stuff, like, behind the camera. But for now, I'm just focusing on acting, and definitely I feel that I'm very, I have done a lot of different projects where I've been able to see my skills where they fit, and I feel that I can definitely do that in the future.
Well, what's the worst piece of advice anyone's ever given to you about acting?
Well, when I moved to LA, there's so many companies that they just want your money. Like, they're just like, oh, you need to take this for 2 years. You cannot make a fool of yourself at the auditions. And they're just discouraging you and lowering your self-esteem at the same time. So my advice is that if you have a company or like a school or anything that tells you, like, oh, you're not ready, you cannot be going to auditions until you're in second year here, they just want your money, basically. And you gotta know that that's how we're gonna learn. You obviously go prepared. Read your sides. Work on your character and go prepared. But know that every audition is gonna be a learning experience, and you're gonna gain from it. There will be growth there.
I would imagine every set is a learning experience because you're working with different,
Totally.
people using different methods and in engaging their characters and all that. So what have you learned that you didn't, when you started out, you didn't know, a whole lot, but now, you're a fountain of knowledge, I would imagine.
Well, it's definitely, totally I agree with you, because when I started, one of my goals was every time I went on a project, I wanted to learn like 10 things new. Like, like, obviously learn as much as I can, but like, I'm like, okay, I need to because if there's no learning experience, then you're not growing. If you don't learn something new, then that means that you're not really like, what's the point? So, so basically, yeah. So what I try to do is like, take everything in and see what worked for me, what didn't work for me, what I can do to improve my skills, or just in different areas. I try to do that in every day, like in my life, and I do that with the different sets. I feel that I definitely, from the beginning to now, I feel that I'm more, I guess more like, with more experience, you become more comfortable, and you understand, you have less pressure on yourself, like when I did in the beginning, where I'm just like, oh God, I hope I don't get fired, and you just feel you're constantly in fear.
It's true. In working in this in Tale of Tales, I mean, you play an exotic dancer, you play a person who was there a lot of exercise, a lot of physical stuff that you had to do and learn?
Yeah, I did, and before I started working, I took some pole dancing classes so I can understand how it works, and I never danced like that, so like, and I have so much respect for dancers, because I couldn't even do the like the simple technique when I got there. I'm like, oh my God, because you have like the 6-inch high heels when you're rehearsing, when you're working in. And so I did take classes. I with the shoes. Well, first I took off the shoes. They said, well, let's start with the shoes. They kind of saw that I was like, I mean, it's really like, it takes a lot of skills. And I was like, oh my God. And I'm just like, okay, I have so much, it gave me so much understanding, what they go through when they're dancing. It's not just that simple. And then another thing, so I took classes, and I was bruised. All my legs were bruised. And I'm just like, okay, hopefully when I get there, they will be gone, because I don't want to show up with my legs are like bruised. But then by the time I got there, because I practiced so much, I guess with time you don't bruise as much. I didn't know that. they tell me at the place where I went, oh, don't worry, like by the time you go there, like you're not gonna bruise anymore because it's just like that's the way your body is like preparing. I'm like, oh, okay. So then I get there and I'm just, I feel that I was comfortable
Mm.
and I was glad I took the classes because I see the other girls that were actually trained to do that on set and they're like, wow, like amazing what they can do. And so yeah, that was like a new skill I will add to my resume.
It's in your tool belt now. That's a huge workout too. Will you keep that up? I mean,
Yeah,
just for
I
the
was like
exercise?
sweating. Like in the first 10 minutes, you're sweating. Like when I was, being coach. And I'm just like really like I would hear sometimes, oh, this is a good way to exercise and it's good for your toning. And I'm just like, how is that just turning around? Like, how's that gonna make a difference? But yeah, definitely it is like a good workout. I will wake up so sore. Like I feel like I got beat up, from like twisting and stuff.
I would pole dance, but the pole keeps bending, so I just can't can't do it. It is such a pleasure to chat with you, especially on this new project hitting Tubi in just a few days.
Yeah.
We need to get back together
Yeah.
and chat about everything else. And
Sure.
it's such a pleasure to meet you.
Me too. Thank you so much, Tony.